Welcome and thank you for joining us for today's DealerOn webinar, How to Get Maximum Profits from Your Trade-in Leads. My name is Eliana Raggio and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by DealerOn. For anyone who isn't familiar with DealerOn, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency best known for our amazing SEO, the best customer service, and the highest converting website designs in the industry, including the award-winning Chameleon responsive website platform. When we got back from NADA, we were awarded the Driving Sales Dealer Satisfaction Award for the top-rated websites for an unprecedented 6th year in a row. We also took home the AWA Award for Best Websites. Plus, FCA announced that we are now an approved vendor. It's been a heck of a 2017. We're still the only company in the industry that offers a money-back lead guarantee program. Do you want to know more? Yeah, you do. You can check us out at DealerOn.com. DealerOn is headed to Tampa in just a few weeks for the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention, April 11th through the 13th. We're bringing some serious heat. First, we're giving away $50 for pre-scheduling a demo at the show. That's not all. Sean Raines and Greg Gifford will be there too, giving in-depth presentations to rock your world. And if you stop by booth 411, Greg is going to hand you a copy of the new book he wrote on local SEO. It's over 60 pages, and it is awesome. Remember, it's booth 411. I'm going to be there, and I would love to see you there. We have a great show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have Barry Brodsky as our presenter today. Barry Brodsky is president and founder of eAuto Appraise, which delivers website amplifiers and innovative web products to help new and used car dealers improve the car shopping, purchasing, and ownership experience for their customers. A 22-year veteran of the retail automotive industry, Barry provides an exceptional balance of leadership experience, broad operational and marketing skills, and extensive proficiency in automotive e-commerce. Prior to eAuto Appraise, Barry's other notable career highlights include helping to launch the portal website carsoup.com and his varied responsibilities as co-founder and principal leader of NetSearch. Barry is a frequent speaker at media industry events, holds a degree in automotive management from Northwood University, and he can be reached at barry@eautoappraise.com. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, we're going to try to respond by email later today. Don't forget, a link to download a copy of this webinar recording will also be emailed to you later today for your reference, and feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. And guess what? Our good friends at eAuto Appraise are giving away some cool prizes today on the webinar. First, one of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win an eAuto Appraise V-neck t-shirt. One lucky attendee will also win an eAuto Appraise hat. And then one more lucky attendee is going to win an eAuto Appraise quarter zip pullover. That's 3 chances to score some sweet swag. You have to be on the live broadcast to win it though, so stay tuned. And who knows, you might be one of the people walking away with some super cool prize today. And at the conclusion of this webinar, you're going to get a short survey. So fill it out because we're always looking for quality feedback from our audience. And we want to hear what you have to say. And hey, do you tweet much? We hope you do. We'd love to see what you have to say about today's presentation, so please tag us in it. You can use hashtag DealerOnWebby. I'm at Eliana Raggio. You can also hit up Barry Brodsky at BrodskyB23. We look forward to seeing what you're saying. All right, everyone, let's get started. Let's learn how to get maximum profits from your trade-in leads. Barry Brodsky, longtime listener, first-time presenter. I love it. How are you, sir?
Doing great, Eliana. Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction.
You're very kind. So I'm so excited because we've actually never done this topic before. And, I've been doing webinars mighty long time, many years now. We're going on like 8 years probably. And I've never done this topic. So I'm really excited about this. I love learning something new. So I don't know. I know you have a lot of stuff to get to. I would love it if you could tell the audience the kinds of things that we're going to be learning about today on how to get maximum profits for your trade-in leads.
Well, Eliana, we're going to talk about placement for the trade-in tool. We're going to talk about having the right platform, a platform that's going to generate some instant gratification for the customer. And we're going to go through different ways that the dealerships can maximize their profits from a trade-in platform on their website.
This all sounds good to me. And then we're going to give away some prizes, and then we're going to get to the Q&A session. So where do we begin, sir?
Well, let's start with our objectives, Eliana. Let's talk about how we're going to maximize the lead volume, best call to action placement, giving the customer a realistic value range so that they have the right expectations when they walk into the dealership, giving them a shorter time spent in the dealership by having a better informed customer who's got all the information when they come in, and certainly looking forward to the Q&A session.
I love it. All right, let's get going, Barry. Where do we begin?
Outstanding. Again, thank you very much for the introduction. So we'll start with maximizing the lead volume. Let's talk about placement for the trade-in platform. Let's make sure that at your dealership that you've got the value your trade button under the new car drop down, the used car drop down, the specials, the finance drop down. You should have a link in your vehicle detail page or the VDP in your search results page with a banner at the top or the banner in between every vehicle that the customer is going to see when they do their search. So that's going to be the search results page. We're going to talk about that a little bit deeper as we get into the presentation. So call to action placement. Let's talk about that for a minute. 15 to 20% of all the people that on your site will click the value your trade button call to action. So you need to have that placement as best as you can, again, in the VDP, the SRP, the right drop downs. According to NADA research, as it says here, 83% of the car shoppers will have a vehicle to trade in. Whether or not they like your appraisal, whether they trade it in with you, whether they take it to CarMax and get a number, they have a vehicle that they need to trade in. And according to the PCG report, 30% of the customers that have a trade-in are going to come in with negative equity. So you need to be aware of that when a customer sends you a trade-in lead. 80% of the customers that have a trade-in will get some sort of an online estimate before they come into your store. That's why it's so important for you as a dealership to have the trade-in platform and the right trade-in platform on your website, because the customer is going to go to Kelley Blue Book or Black Book or NADA guides, and they are going to go and they're going to find the value of their vehicle. So very important that you've got the right platform there. So the other part of it is, are you promoting the trade-in platform? Are you using a link in your newsletters, your follow-up emails, something saying we need your trade-in, we pay top dollar for your trade-in? Find out what your vehicle's worth, click here. Again, very important for placement to generate the highest amount of leads that you can. And then we're going to get into accuracy. Accuracy is very important because you want to set up a realistic expectation for the customer. That's why giving them a value range and offering the customer hope for gain on the high side, yet protecting the dealership on the low side, is so important. Are you asking, is your platform asking about equipment, mileage, the zip code that they're in? Because as we all know, there are regional values. I'm in Arizona, so a 4x4 may not be worth as much here in the wintertime as it would be worth in Washington, D.C. or New York, where they have cold weather climates and they have snow and ice. So that's very important that you've got all of that information. And you don't want to lock yourself into a single number unless you have a trade-in platform that's going to guarantee to buy the trade-in vehicle from you. Even in that case, if you're giving the customer too low of a number, we all know what happens. The customer doesn't respond to your emails. They don't answer your phone calls. You never get them into the dealership, and that's exactly what we're looking for from not only the trade-in form, but from the finance form and the quick quote form and every other call to action that you have on your website. So we want to offer the customer hope for gain on the high side and protect the dealership on the low side. So what do customers expect from a dealership's website? The number one goal of the website should be to get the customer to want to do business with the dealership, to want to be able to come into the dealership, find the vehicle that they're looking for online, come in and get that vehicle, have their trade-in vehicle inspected, and go through all of their financing. So really, in our business, whether it's going to the website or walking into the brick and mortar building, there are three things that a customer really wants to know. They want to know if you have the car in stock, what the cost of the vehicle is, and what their trade is worth. They may want to know payments. They may want to know about getting pre-approved, but really, those are the three key items that a customer wants to know when they walk into the store. And by giving the customer all of that information on the dealer's website, they're going to have a higher CSI score. The idea is to get the customer, who, by the way, their number one complaint in CSI surveys is the time spent inside the dealership. That's why most customers would rather go to the dentist than go in to buy a new car.
Ouch.
So by using the right, by using the right trade-in platform, by having the right finance platform, and being able to potentially pre-qualify a customer before they even walk in the door, you can shorten up the time spent in the dealership, have a happier customer for repeat and referral business, and have a higher CSI score, which is every dealership is looking for the highest CSI score they can get.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there, Barry. How much time could be saved by doing it that way?
It's a great question, Eliana. So what we have read in our research, and I will credit the PASH research report for this one, that the average customer spends about 4 hours in the dealership trying to buy a vehicle.
Right.
So we are talking about trying to take that down somewhere less than 60 minutes inside the dealership.
God, that would be nice.
It would be. So if the customer has already selected their vehicle, they've already gone through and possibly uploaded photo and video of their trade-in, filled out the trade-in request form, gotten pre-qualified, they literally could pull up to the dealership, park next to their new vehicle, where the used car manager or the appraiser can inspect the trade-in vehicle. The customer can take a look at the replacement vehicle. They can go through everything and then literally walk into the dealership and go into the finance office. In a perfect world, you'd have a finance manager that had the deal loaded into his computer already and was ready to go. Obviously, he's going to speak to them about any aftermarket products, any warranties that they might be able to purchase with that vehicle, and be able to run the documentation very quickly, sign the tax forms, odometer, sales, finance form if there is a finance contract, be out of the finance office and getting delivered on their new vehicle, and with the salesperson showing them how everything works on it, all within 30, 45 minutes and being out the door in 60 minutes or less.
That just sounds like, I mean, it sounds great, but that sounds like a pipe dream. I just want to know, are there any dealers out there who are doing this, who can get it? What's your average time to get somebody in, sell them a car, and get them out? Because I would love to know if there's one dealer out there who's doing it in 60 minutes. Seriously.
Oh, there are dealers that are doing it, and are you asking me for dealership names?
Do you know any?
I do know of a couple. I could tell you that the Castle Automotive Group is very, very specific on getting the customer in and out quickly, having those deals loaded in. There are a couple of other dealers in the Chicago market, and quite frankly, there are a couple here in Arizona. The Burge Automotive Group works diligently to have the customer select their replacement vehicle online, to have them appraise their vehicle, and to do a pre-qualification where the dealership is able to do a soft credit pull, which pulls a full file. And there are companies out there that do that right now.
That's amazing. Really, seriously. Even to get it down to 2 hours would be amazing. Because I went with a friend of mine just this past summer. She didn't even have a trade-in. She walked in, she saw the car online, she knew she wanted it, she called ahead. She had the down payment, you name it. She had perfect credit. There was nothing. She already knew the price from the website, the whole thing. And it still took 4 hours for us to get out of that dealership. There was no reason for it. I have no idea why it takes 4 hours. So anything we could
Well,
do to
why did it
lower
take
that.
4 hours?
It's
I'm
less
sorry,
time to
were
go to
you
the
there with her?
emergency room. Yeah, I was there with her. So
Okay, so what took 4 hours?
I wish I could tell you, my friend. I don't know. We didn't even take the car for a test drive because she had already test drove it someplace else. They just happened to have the color that she wanted. So she was like, that's it. I'm ready to buy my car. And so she went and she said, would you come with me? I was like, sure. I kind of work in the car industry. It took 4 hours to get out of there. Meanwhile, everyone knows I have a little kid. I remember taking him to the ER one time, and we got out of there in 3 hours. So I was like, wow, it takes less time to go to the ER than it does to buy a car. Maybe that's just over here in New Jersey. I don't know. But I would
No,
love it
no,
if we
that's
could see car
everywhere.
dealers getting it down to 1 or 1.5 hours. That would be amazing.
Oh, and there are ways to do it by using technology, by having the right inventory having your inventory and having the right inventory in stock, but having that inventory posted on your website, having the right VDP and SRP so the customer has enough photos to look at the vehicle, know if it's the vehicle they want. And like you said, your friend had already test driven the car at another dealership, and it was just a matter of color and maybe an option or two.
Right.
But as long as they've got that information, and again, the trade-in information, a pre-qualification, it is possible, and there are dealers doing it, and it is definitely the way the industry is moving.
Oh, I hope so. All right, let's keep going. This is fascinating to me.
Okay? All right, so some trade-in forms that are provided just by the dealer give no instant gratification. And in this day and age of people wanting instant gratification and microwaving everything, we do it ourselves, whether outside of our own industry. And so I put down a few examples here. Would you want to fill out a mortgage finance details and put in all of your information without getting an instant APR, at least an estimate of something? And would you want to fill out an auto insurance quote form without expecting an instant estimate for your policy? None of that is really feasible. We want instant gratification. So again, a dead-end form on your website that gives no instant gratification is probably not something that's going to endear the customer to want to do business with your facility. The other thing is you don't want to set up any kind of a confrontational situation with the customer by giving a value that is not accurate. So keep that in mind as well. And Eliana, I think we move next to a poll question.
I think that would be a great idea. Audience, we have 3 really interesting poll questions, and the first one is on the screen now. We'd love it if you take part in our poll questions today. Let's get to the first poll question. It is, how accurate do you think the trade-in values are provided to customers on your website versus the ACV that you place on the vehicles in the store? So please select 1. We're talking about the trade-in values on your website versus the ones in person. Do you think that they are very accurate, sometimes accurate, rarely accurate, or you know what? You don't even provide online values, or oh geez, don't even get me started. Once we get a majority of the votes in, we're going to close this poll and share the results. And these poll questions really help us learn what's happening, not just in your dealership, but in all the dealerships. It's very broad and it spans the country, so we want to see what's happening out there in the auto industry and just try and get a feel for what's happening. Specifically today, we're looking at trade-in values provided to the customers either on the website versus the ones that you guys do in person. All right. Also, I want to encourage all of you to make sure you start sending in questions for the one and only Barry Brodsky about how to maximize your profits from your trade-in leads, what you should do with those. Because Barry, your argument is that those trade-in leads should be handled just slightly differently than non-trade-in leads. Is that correct?
It is indeed. It is correct, because in our business today, unfortunately, and a lot of it has to do with technology, the
Yeah.
gross profits, especially on new cars, is quite low. The trade-in is the one piece and the one piece to the puzzle that the dealership can make some money with, that they can look at the vehicle as a car that they're going to put on their used car lot, that they are going to sell, that they are potentially going to get financing from, sell a service contract, have a customer that's going to come into their service department, that they can potentially take in a trade on that trade-in vehicle and continue, because every dealership needs vehicles for their used car lot. And any dealer that you ask, their number one choice is to take in the vehicle at the curb. The last choice is to go to the auction and have to buy a car and send somebody to the auction, a used car manager or a buyer, to go and try to buy cars where they're competing with other dealers, instead of having a car at the curb and being able to reap the benefits of selling the vehicle.
Certainly, certainly. Okay, let's get to the results from our first poll question, Barry. So according to our audience today, 5% of today's audience feel that their trade-in values on their website versus the ones in store are very accurate. That's good. The majority, however, 63% of today's audience feel they are sometimes accurate. 21% of today's audience said they are rarely accurate, and then 11% said they don't even provide online values. It's just too risky for them maybe. And then I just wanted to share this comment from David. He wrote in, a lot of this has to do with the information that the customer inputs on the form, because most folks don't notice the scratches, the dings, and the dents, and they have, and no one thinks that their car needs new tires. Point taken, David. Thank you very much for that. All right.
David, you jumped my play, David. Thank you. That's a great point. You're right. Because as the customers go through, and you'll see as I go through the presentation, but let me address that now, if that's okay, Eliana.
Absolutely.
And David, you're right, because in most trade-in tools, they ask for the condition. Is it rough? Is it average? Is it clean? Is it extra clean? And let's face it, most customers, I can't say every, but most customers think that their vehicle is a lot cleaner than it is. And that's why it's so important to get the customer in the door and to give them a value range that offers them hope for gain, to get them in the door, so that when the appraiser goes out and looks at the car with the customer and does that silent appraisal, if you will, and touches the little ding on the back that the customer forgot, doesn't make their car excellent anymore, and the customer tells you the story of how he or his wife or his kid backed into the mailbox on their way out the other morning, heading to work or school, or the little scratches that they have, or the discoloration in the interior. And you're exactly right, David. That's a great point. That's, again, why it's so important to offer the customer a value range and give them the instant gratification, offering them hope for gain on the high side, yet protecting the dealership on the low side.
Thank you very much for that. And thank you, audience, for participating in our first poll question. We have 2 more poll questions coming your way. Don't be shy about sending in your questions to Barry for the Q&A session. All right, Barry, where do we go from here?
All right. So there are different forms out there, and I took the names off of all of these forms so that we wouldn't show any of
to protect the innocent?
Any of the companies out there.
Okay.
Yeah, protect the innocent. Very good. Thanks, Eliana. So here are a couple of forms. These are the beginning of the phases of appraising a vehicle. Some of the results pages, some of the drop downs where customers can select the year of their vehicle or the year of their replacement vehicle and get some of the results. So we've done a few of these, and some of them are better than others, and some work better than others depending on markets that you're in and the way that the platform is set up for the trade-in piece. So taking a look at this, you know what you have on your websites. I'm not promoting one or the other at this point, but I'm telling you, what I'm saying to you is that having the right form and having a form that a customer can fill out and get instant gratification is very important. Ileana, I think we did have the second poll question coming up now.
Okay, let's do it. Audience, second poll question is on the screen now. Again, please take part in our poll question. It really helps us out. The question is, what do you currently use to generate online trade-in leads on your dealership website? Please select one of the following answers. Do you use a paid third-party trade-in tool? Do you use a trade-in form provided by your website vendor? Do you use a trade-in function? Oh, I'm sorry. Is your trade-in function only offered in your payment calculator? Yeah, they have those out there too. Or do you redirect customers to an external third-party site like KBB to do the trade-in value? Or maybe the last answer is yours. We have no option for customers to put in trade-in info online. So once we get a majority of the votes, we're going to close this poll and share the results. Ooh, I love it. The votes are coming in nice and fast. All right, and then we have a little bit more of the presentation. Another poll question will be coming up, and then we're going to give away prizes and get to the audience questions too. So don't be shy, audience. I'm just looking for some more questions for the Q&A session. All right, Barry, whenever you're ready, we have almost everyone voted. Audience, you guys rock today. Whenever you're ready, I'll close this poll and share the results.
I'm ready whenever you are. Close the poll whenever you feel you've got all the answers.
All right, let's do it. Audience, thank you so much for your votes. Let's see what is going on today. All right, the majority, 53% of today's audience say that they use a paid third-party trade-in tool. Oh, that's very high. 18% of today's audience say that they use a trade-in form provided by their website vendor. 6% of today's audience say that their trade-in function is only offered in the payment calculator. 12% of today's audience say they redirect customers to an external third-party site like KBB. And the remaining 12%, well, they're admitting they have no option for customers to put in trade-in information online. Barry, now I don't know, are you going to go into this and tell us the drawbacks of some of these, or the upside and the downside of some of these?
I am, and I'm kind of surprised by the answer. So 53%, if I have the number right, Eliana,
yes,
53% have a paid form or a paid platform on their website, and that's terrific.
That's what they're telling us.
You should have something. Okay, well, here's the thing. As a dealer, you want to keep the customer on your website, so why not give them the information? We already know that they will go to a third-party website, a portal site, be it NADA Guides or Kelley Blue Book, or somebody else to go in and get that information and have an idea of what their trade is worth. So we know that they're going to go there. Why not keep them on your website? So for the percentage, I believe it was 12% that said they did not have a form at all.
Yes, 12%.
Having something on there is very important, and something that you might want to take a look at, because from what we have found out, Value Your Trade is one of the top 3 lead generating pieces on a dealer's website. So having something on there, and having something on there that is responsive, so that customers can use the platform from their mobile device, because as we're all finding out in this industry, that more and more people are generating their leads from a mobile device. They're not using desktops anymore. So to that point, I'm showing you something in our back office where you've got a dealership that is getting somewhere around 65-70% on a consistent basis of their leads from a trade-in tool that are coming from a mobile device. So imagine if this dealership had a platform that was not responsive, or a website that was not responsive. They would be missing out on 60-70% of their leads in the course of 30 days, and thus 60 to 70% of their sales. No dealership can afford to do that. The other thing I did want to address is for the dealers that said that they had a link that links off to a portal site, to a Kelley Blue Book, or to an NADA Guides. Guys, that is just wrong. You as a dealership invest your money to market to your customers to market your dealership, to brand your dealership. When you get a customer there and you send them off to a portal website to go and get a value range, when they're on there, they're going to find out that they can also find other dealers, that they can buy a car on there, that they can do their research on that portal website. So once you've invested your money, whether it's on search engine marketing or on conventional advertising or however you do it in your dealership, you've invested your money to drive the customer to your website. Why would you let them go, let alone encourage them to go on to a portal website where they can find your competition or private party vehicles for sale? That make no sense. Keep the customer on your website. That's the whole idea behind driving them to your website, is to get them there, keep them there, generate a lead, and sell a car and make some money. So we've gone through, and Eliana asked us to come up with suggested resources. So we have found that Dale Pollack from vAuto to be a phenomenal resource. Dale has many books, as do all of these companies on here, but they have books, they have blogs, they have video blogs, vlogs as they're called, I guess. You have Cardone University that you can go into for training on how to handle the trade-in customer. You have PCG Research, which is giving you all kinds of data, telling you how many people that are buying a car have a vehicle to trade in, how many are in a negative equity position, how many people actually trade that vehicle into your dealership instead of selling it to their neighbor, what the benefits are of them trading that vehicle in, because in many states, the customer pays tax on the cash difference amount, not the sale amount of the vehicle. Granted, some states do have the customer pay tax on the sale amount, therefore the trade-in doesn't figure into the tax savings, but in most states, the customer is paying tax on the cash difference, so keep that in mind. It's another way to get the customer in and get the vehicle in, because again, going back to the fact that every dealership needs cars on their used car lot to make money and to sell cars. So Eliana, we're at the third poll question now.
Third poll question, kind of like a pop quiz on this one. We want to know, what is the #1 lead generating form or call to action on your site? And I have no idea why it has that symbol after that. I didn't even know you could do that in GoToWebinar. Okay, but let's see these answers. Please select one. Do you think it's get e-price, get pre-approved, trade-in form, request information, or do you think it's just something else entirely? Once we get a majority of the votes, we're going to close this poll and share the results. Question again, what's the #1 lead generating form or call to action on your site? Votes are coming in fast. All right, audience, you're doing great. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to these giveaways that we're going to be doing, Barry. Me too. You did not have easy questions, my friend. So hopefully my very smart audience has taken great notes today, and we can give out some really gold prizes. All right, audience, you guys.
Eliana, like you, I have a lot of confidence in the audience.
I do too. All right, Barry, I'm going to give this a few more seconds, and then we will close this poll and share the results. #1 lead generating form or call to action on your site. #1, not #3, #1, right? Because I know we talked about #3. But, all right, let's close this poll and see what the audience thought. And then you're going to give us the correct answer, right, Barry? Barry?
I will give the correct answer, but the correct answer is going to be different for every dealership, or different based on the dealership. But yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, let's see. The audience said the majority, 33%, so a solid third of today's audience, say they believe the #1 lead generating form or call to action on their site is get e-price. 7% of today's audience say get pre-approved. 20% of today's audience say it's trade-in form. Now another 33%, another third of the audience, said they think it's request information. And then we have some holdouts. 7% of today's audience think it's something else entirely. So Barry, is there a right answer to this question?
You know, there is no one solid answer for every dealership in the country. It's not even realistic. But I think the point to the question was that in almost every single dealership, whether it's DealerOn website or one of your competitors, the top three are one of the top three is without a doubt the value your trade button. And we find in a lot of our dealerships, in surveys that we have done with different web development companies, including DealerOn, that the trade-in platform is in many cases the #1 trade-in form on the dealer's website, generating over 30% of the leads that the dealership receives.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. So we want to give some action items for the attendees of the webinar. So when you get back to your dealership, or when you're at your dealership, when you're looking at your website, take a look at the placement, kind of the little things. Make sure that it is in those drop downs that we talked about. Make sure that you do have the value your trade on your VDP and on your SRP, and that you have a banner running. Make sure that it is in all of the places that it needs to be to generate more leads. Most are iframed in. So the question is, does your trade-in platform, for those of you that are using one, do they have a spot for you to be able to put in the code for you to be able to get analytics, whether it's from Google Analytics or Dadium or any of the other companies that offer analytics out there? If there is not a placeholder for that code to be able to put in to the trade-in platform, you're not going to be able to get the analytics back. Analytics of where did the customer drop off? What is your drop-off rate on the trade-in platform that you've got on your website? All very important things as you're trying to figure out how to generate more leads from your own website, reducing your dependence on third-party portal websites. The other thing that you can do when you get to the dealership is make sure that you've got a form that doesn't have a ton of questions, that have drop downs that expand out too far, because the attention span of the customer when they're on the website just isn't 100%. So you want to make sure that your trade-in form can run in 90 seconds, 100 seconds or less, and make sure that the customer is going to complete it. That will reduce the drop-off rate. You want to make sure, and at your dealership, go through, if you have an iPhone, use it. If somebody else has an Android, try it. But make sure that your trade-in platform is 100% responsive and is going to work on both an Apple and an Android. And consider the leads as high quality, because they are. They are high quality exclusive leads with a customer that's going to bring in a vehicle that you can use on your used car lot, that you can use to hold back a little bit on the trade, create gross, or to have a negotiating position. So you want to make sure that you've got everything. So consider that a high quality lead, and make sure that your team is responding to that lead right away and getting back to the customer. Otherwise, that customer is going to move on to another website where they're going to get a response. And trust me, they're going to get a response from somebody, because somebody's dialed into these leads and knows what a high closing ratio they've got. So that's the presentation. I hope everybody enjoyed it. We've got the Q&A coming up, and Eliana, you've got some additional questions, I believe, for the prizes.
Oh, yeah, we're going to take care of those prizes in just a lickety-split minute. Before we do that, yes, please get in your questions for Barry. We only have a handful of questions so far. I'm looking for some more, so don't be shy. Send in those questions. We're going to get to that in just a moment. Before we do that, I do want to direct your attention over to the handouts section of the GoToWebinar interface. In there, you will find one handout in there. Yes, it is today's slide deck. So if you'd like to download today's slide deck, you can do so till the end of this broadcast. Look on your GoToWebinar interface for the word handouts. There's probably a little triangle next to it. Click on that triangle, it'll open up, and you'll see that one handout sitting in there ready for immediate download. All right. Before we go any further, you got it, Barry. We're going to give away some prizes. I wish I had some game show music, but I don't. But it's okay, audience. If you were here at the beginning of the webinar, I announced that our good friends over at eAuto Appraise, they're giving away an amazing, actually more than one amazing prize today on the webinar. We're going to go in order, so I'll tell you which prize we're giving away first, second, and third. But yeah, you could win a V-neck t-shirt. You could win one of those very cool hats, or you might be able to score that quarter zip pullover. Very, very awesome. By the way, these are high quality things, I know, because I always try, when I see Barry at the conventions, I always try and score one for myself. All right, so here we go. And these are not, pretty easy questions. Oh, we're already turning on the webcam. All right. You're right. We should turn on our webcams. Thank you so much, sir. Where's your webcam? Where'd you go? Come on, Barry. There we go. All right, handsome. All right, audience. Here we go. Thank you. All right. So first question, first one to write in the correct response is going to win. All right. So I hope you took great notes, everyone. Here we go. Earlier in the presentation, Barry gave many suggestions for generating more lead volume from your trade-in tool. He wants you to name 2. Name any 2, because there was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. So name 2. Okay, let's see. Why, yes, Devon Rajkumar, that would be correct. Devon Rajkumar said drop downs for used cars and new cars. Barry, that's correct, right?
That is indeed correct.
Bravo, Devon Rajkumar.
Good job. Way to go.
Good job, Devon. And Devon, if you wouldn't mind, we need a mailing address for you. I'm sorry, I should have said this first prize was for the V-neck shirt, which, by the way, is super soft. You're going to really like it, Devon. Okay, so Devon, you won. Hold on, Raj Kumar. Okay, this is wonderful. Good job, Devon. And I'm so sorry, Devon. I forgot what dealership you're. Oh, look at you. You are awesome. Okay, he is the digital marketing manager at Van Dusen Chevrolet Buick GMC in Ontario, Canada. Nice job, Devon. All right, Devon, you're already a winner today, my friend. I'm going to ask you to sit the rest of this game show giveaways out. Okay, sir? So thank you so much for that. Yes, you're back on the winning streak. All right, everyone. Guess what? It's okay. You got 2 more chances to win. Here we go. Next prize is going to be that awesome hat that you see on the right-hand side, that eAuto Appraise hat. I think it's like a Nike mesh hat or something, right?
It is. It's a Nike hat, mesh on the back. Really nice.
Very nice. Yeah, you don't cheap out on your giveaways, Barry.
Nope.
I like the way you do this. All right, everyone. I hope you guys took great notes. Here we go. Good luck. According to NADA research, what percentage of car shoppers have a trade-in? That is right, Kendra Elliott. You are the first person to write in. 83%. Congratulations, Kendra Elliott. Oh my gosh, we're making it official. Kendra, what dealership are you from, my friend? That's right, Wilson Motors Ford in Albany, Oregon. Congratulations, Kendra. Don't forget to send me your mailing address too. I haven't seen your name come up for a while on a prize, so good for you, Kendra. All right, one last question. Now this is for that eAuto Appraise quarter zip pullover. Are you wearing it now?
I am.
These are not.
I am indeed.
These are not cheap. This is a really nice, this is legit, really, really nice quarter zip pullover. So I really hope you enjoy it, whoever wins it. All right, everyone, here we go. Now, Kendra and Devon, you can sit this out. You're already winners. All right, here we go. According to PCG Marketing Research, what percentage of customers are in a negative equity position when they arrive at your dealership? Kathy Hensley for the win, 32%. Congratulations, Kathy Hensley. I've never heard your name come up before, so congrats. You just won that cool quarter zip pullover. That was awesome. Kathy, if you wouldn't mind, tell me what dealership you're from and also send me your mailing address so we can give you a proper congratulations like we did for Devon and Kendra. Now, audience, while she's doing that, she's with Master Buick GMC in Augusta, Georgia. Pretty sweet. Congratulations on that, Kathy. I hope you enjoy it. And Kendra and Devon, you're all winners today. I hope you really enjoy those wonderful prizes from eAuto Appraise. They're going to be coming directly from our friends over at eAuto Appraise, so check the mail for that. And I do want to tell everyone else, look, I know we gave away 3 prizes today, and it wasn't enough. I know. But you know what? We give away cool prizes every week. So come on back to another DealerOn webinar. And who knows, that could be the day you win a cool prize on DealerOn webinar. But for right now, congratulations go out to Devon, Kendra, and Kathy. And of course, we got to thank our very good friends over at eAuto Appraise for their incredible generosity. All right, Barry, it's time to answer some questions. Are you ready, sir?
I am indeed.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Let's close this out. Okay, first question. Okay, Jerry wrote in, with leasing volume growing, will the future, do you think, be less important on trade-ins as more people will be turning in a lease vehicle and the trade-in is maybe not as feasible? Now, this is curious to me because I believe, it's just my opinion, of course, I think you're going to straighten me out on this, but I feel like Jerry works at a dealership where he does a lot of leasing, but that's not always the case at a lot of dealerships. So, Barry, how do you feel about this whole leasing thing? Do you think trade-ins are always going to be important? I mean, you said NADA research says 83% have a trade-in. That's pretty high volume.
It is indeed, and Jerry, you're right. But leasing has been going up for the last 30 years. It's been increasing. So while it is important, remember that dealers still need cars on their used car lot. The customers, if they're in a positive equity position, are going to trade in that lease vehicle. And some of them are. I know some of them are way upside down, and I get it. But there are still going to be leases that are going to be traded in. There are going to be conquest vehicles. There's going to be release specials where that vehicle will be turned in, if not traded in. So there is a continuing growth in trade-in vehicles, as you could tell. At 83% of the population that is looking to purchase a vehicle has a trade-in vehicle. So while it may be diminishing a little bit, I don't have exact numbers on that, so I don't want to share anything with you. But I would tell you that the trade-in is going to continue to be a key component to making a car deal, whether it's online or in the dealership.
Oh, wonderful. All right. Jerry, thank you so much for your comments and your questions. I hope that answered it. If you have a follow-up question, well, we'd love to know more. All right, Barry, you're doing good. 1 for 1. Here we go. Next question.
All right.
Okay, next question comes in from Jason. Jason says, what would you say is a good overall conversion rate for a trade-in tool in relation to our unique visitors? Very good question, Jason.
That is a really good question.
Really good question.
So it is, and I would share with you that the average dealership is getting anywhere from 1.5% to 3% of the uniques to convert into a lead, and your trade-in form should be at least able to equal that amount. So anywhere from 1.5% to 3% conversion rate for a trade-in platform is strong. And that's what we're always looking for in our business.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Hope that answers the question, but yes. A great question.
And I was corrected. He just signed in as Jason, but his name is actually Christopher. So Christopher, thank you so much for being here today and for asking that great question. We really appreciate it. If you have a follow-up question, we're here. Don't keep us waiting. Let's go. All right. We only have a few more questions, then we're going to be closing out the show. Our next question comes in from Jim. Jim says, at our dealership, we're just supposed to get them in before valuing their trade. Do you feel that we're losing sales?
I absolutely do feel that you're losing sales. Again, you've got to communicate with the customer in order to get them in the door, but if you're not answering the questions that they want answered, for instance, forget about the trade-in for a second. Think about if the customer asks you if you had the car in stock. Would you tell them, no, I'm not going to tell you. You have to get in your car and drive here to see if we have the car in stock? Of course you're not. And if a customer wants to get pre-approved, it's going to be the exact same thing. Giving them the opportunity to be anonymous on the website and to do their research, to be able to get in and check to see if they can get pre-qualified or pre-approved. to find out what their trade is worth so they know if they're in a negative equity position is very important. So yes, I do think that it is costing you business.
Okay, Jim, you heard it from the man himself. I hope that helps you out, and best of luck, my friend. Okay, few more questions. Let's see. This one comes in from Devon. Hey, Devon, congrats. All right, he says, how do you convince management to give more info like trade-in value over the phone or the internet rather than wait for them to come in? Telling question. Thank you, Devon. Barry, do you have any suggestions if somebody's, working at a dealership that's their policy? I mean, how do you say, hey, Barry Brodsky says we're losing sales?
Oh, Devon, and that is a great question. Thank you so much, and congratulations on winning the prize. We'll get it right out to you. Again, if they're not coming to your website to get a trade-in value and they're on your website looking at a vehicle or trying to get pre-qualified, they are going to go off to a portal website, to a third-party site, to find out their trade-in value, where they are going to find, again, additional vehicles for sale. A dealership that may be even closer in their zip code, because they're going to search by zip code. They may find that there is a dealership even closer to them, or a dealership that has a vehicle that they want. You've done your job. You've driven them to your website. Now you've got to get them to convert. And why would you take away one of the 3 highest ranking conversion platforms that a dealership has on their website and not give that customer the information along with instant gratification and giving them a realistic value range? That's the way I would present it to the dealership, or to management at the dealership, that the customer is going someplace else to get that value. Why not give it to them on your website and be transparent with the customer so they can appreciate the dealership and admire the honesty?
I love it. Thank you. Great advice. Devon wrote back and he says, I will try that. Wish me luck. Good luck, sir.
Hey, Devon, give me a call. I'll help you.
Oh, that's so nice of you, Barry. Devon, don't be shy. He's like super cool. Seriously, like the nicest guy, right? All right. Next question. Oh, he says thanks. Next question comes in from Kevin. And Kevin says, so when appraising by email, should we just give the low value? And do you have a word track that we can use?
Okay, that is a great question. Let me answer the first part of the question first. And no, you don't want to just give them the low value, because then you run back into the problem where they don't respond to your email, where they go and look it up in another place and they find out that you're trying to hit them low on the vehicle. My experience in the automobile industry in retail tells me that if I'm appraising 10 cars, I don't want to go steal 1 or 2. I want to take in all 10 on trade. I want to have them on my used car lot. I want to sell the vehicle. I want to get financing. I want to have repeat and referral business. I want to have a customer coming into the service department, buying parts, doing all of those things that go along with selling a vehicle. So by trying to steal a vehicle or 2 is not going to make your dealership successful. What's going to make a dealership successful is going to be by putting a real number on the vehicle, giving a fair and equitable trade-in value, offering a realistic value range, something that's going to hit ACV at some level within that value range, and giving them all the information. So I think that's the way to go.
Okay, thank you. So great questions, Kevin. We only have a couple questions left. So I just wanted to put this out for Amy, who wrote in, what is the pricing? Amy, could you be more specific so we can get you the answer to that question? Because I don't know exactly what that was about. And then I did want to also, of course, thank you, Kevin. Okay, a couple more questions, Barry, and then we'll be closing out the show, okay? Oh, I also wanted to let you know this. David wrote in and he said he just put in a ticket to have drop downs for his used cars and new cars for trade-in while he was listening to the webinar. So good job, Sharpie.
Good for you, David. Way to go.
Action. It's all about action, right? Okay. Amy followed up with to use his product. What is the pricing to use your product? She's going right for it, Barry.
Amy, That's a great question. We're not here to really promote our platform. We're here to really try to help share the knowledge of what you can do in your dealership to generate more leads, sell more cars, and make more money, because, again, that is what it's all about. Our platform runs anywhere from $4.99 to $9.99, and if you want to reach out to me, I'd be happy to get into specifics with you on that, Amy. Or if I get your information, you could be sure I'm going to be following up with you as well.
All right.
But anywhere from $4.99 to $9.99 for our platform.
Well, Amy wrote in, thanks, and she says, she's like, it's okay. Some people say it. So, Amy, you're right. And she did ask a direct question, so I would have let you say it. So thank you so much for asking the question, Amy, and Barry for answering the question, all right? All right, couple more questions, and then we'll close out the show. Susan wrote in, is it worse to have no trade-in option on our website or sending them off-site to links like KBB?
I think it's worth sending them off. Neither one of them is a good solution. And by the way, thank you. That is a great question. Neither one is a good solution, because you again, as I said earlier, you invest your money, you drive them to your website, you did a great job, you got them there, and now you're sending them off to a different site to find out information that you can supply them with the right information and generate the lead for your dealership and help you sell a car. So while neither one is good, if I had to make a choice and had a gun to my head and those were my only two options.
Do you cut off your left leg or your left arm?
I would not put in a link. I would not put in a link to anybody else's portal website.
Okay. All right. Susan, thank you so much for that question. All right, last question.
Thank you, Susan.
Yeah, last question comes in from Tony. It says, what website vendor has the best trade-in form in your opinion? Ouch.
Oh,
I mean,
Tony,
are you familiar with a lot of website trade-in forms?
I am familiar with quite a few, and I would say that of the group, that there are two of them. And I don't want to sound self-serving in any way for you at all, Eliana, and for the graciousness of management at DealerOn, but DealerOn, quite frankly, and Dealer E-Process, in my opinion, have the two best form-only products.
Oh, I didn't know what you were going to say.
No. While neither one of them give an instant gratification, and none of the forms do from dealer websites that I'm aware of, I would say that those two generate the best quality lead, because they do give you at the dealership the most information. But then again, all you're doing is getting the customer's contact information, a little bit of information about their trade-in, and then you have the task, the tedious task of calling or emailing that customer and trying to make an appointment to get them to come into the dealership. Now you've got to get the vehicle appraised completely from soup to nuts.
Right.
Instead of having that information or relevant information that would come from a lead generated by a third-party form.
Right. Okay, thank you so much. Great question. Actually, we had one more person sneak in a question. All right, Barry?
All right.
So good. One more question for you, sir.
Yeah, love it.
This one came in from Dan. Dan says, have you seen any dealership groups using AI or chatbots for trade-ins yet?
Dealership groups, there are some that are starting to use them. There's even rumor that Facebook will be starting to use it in their instant messages.
What?
Yep. So working on something on that right now. Stay tuned for that. But that is definitely coming out. But as far as using the bots, I have not seen anything like that or any artificial intelligence.
Okay. Dan says we have it for Facebook Messenger now, but not for Facebook Live. So that helps you out.
Interesting. So yeah, Facebook Messenger is doing it with a couple of social media companies that I'm aware of that are actually getting heavily involved into the Facebook instant messaging.
Right.
I'd love to know what dealership you're at, Dan. I'll get that later, but I'd love to see that operate.
Yeah, and he followed up with, any form we can create can be made into a chat bot. That's cool.
Yep.
All right.
It is.
Dan, what dealership are you from? So we can call you up. I don't know if he's not writing back in. Dan, don't leave me. Oh,
Come on, Dan, type it in.
he is. He's with Robert Green Auto Group. Dan, thank you so much.
Robert Green Auto Group.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to take a look at that one.
All right. Dan, you are our last question of the day. And Barry, who knew? You are awesome on the webinars. Now, let's be honest with everyone.
Thank you.
First webinar, right? First webinar ever?
Yeah. First webinar I've ever done, yeah.
I'm so proud it was with me. Thank you so much, Barry.
It was.
You'll never forget it.
Thank you for making it easy of being gentle.
Oh, you're welcome, Barry. All right. Well, right now we're going to start saying goodbye to everyone. But everyone, if you have any follow-up questions for Barry or you want to know more about how to maximize profits for your trade-in leads, please don't be shy with Barry Brodsky. He is really one of the sweethearts in the auto industry. He's a straight shooter as well, and he's going to help you as much as possible, all right? I'm going to have to mute you, Barry, because I'm hearing an echo now, okay?
Nope, you don't have to mute me.
Okay.
The echo's gone.
All right. Thank you so much, Barry. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, sir. Fantastic presentation. Of course, I want to remind the audience that a link to download a copy of this webinar recording is going to be sent to you later today for your reference. Hey, feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. Today's webinar recording is also going to be posted online within 24 hours. All you have to do is go to DealerOn.com/webinars to view our upcoming webinar schedule or access any of our past webinars too. And this webinar is going to conclude in just another minute. And when it does, you're going to get a very short survey. Seriously, it's 3 questions. We're going to ask you to please fill out that survey. We're always looking for quality feedback from our audience. We want to know what you thought of today's presentation. And Barry's going to fast forward that slide for me any second now. Right, Barry?
Oh, sorry.
Your job's not done yet, mister.
I was busy staring at you with the video on there.
Oh, you are funny. All right, DealerOn's headed to Tampa in just a few weeks for the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention, April 11th through the 13th. We're going to bring some serious heat, too. We're giving away $50 if you pre-schedule a demo at our show. That's not all. We got Sean Raines and Greg Gifford. They're going to be there, too, giving in-depth presentations that are going to rock your world. Sean is going to be talking about prioritizing digital marketing channels, and Greg will tell you how to gain local visibility in Google searches. And if you stop by booth 411, that's 411, Greg is going to hand you a hard copy of his new book he wrote on local SEO. I'm not going to mince words. It's 60 pages of awesome. You're going to want this book. So remember to stop by booth 411. I'll be there, and I hope to see you there as well. And invitations will be going out tomorrow for our next DealerOn webinar. Yes, Jim Ziegler is going to be on. He's going to lay out.
A little bit late.
That's okay. Jim Ziegler is going to be on. He's going to lay out the career path to management. Do you aspire to become a general sales manager or a general manager or even one day own your very own dealership? If so, then you're going to want to hear what legendary trainer Jim Ziegler has to say. He has been guiding automotive professionals toward management and ownership for nearly 40 years. He knows exactly what it takes to advance your career to the highest management levels, and he's ready to help you get there. In this exceptional 1-hour webinar, Ziegler will be talking about specific stages you must achieve in your career to make it to the top. He will quantify the goals, outline the steps, and review the achievements and required qualifications that you need to climb the ladder of automotive success. In the end, attendees will have a clear roadmap to reach top management and even ownership. Do you have what it takes? Well, let's see. If you're ready to move up to management or even ownership, then spend an hour with the one and only Jim Ziegler at his best as he lays out the career path to management. And don't forget, DealerOn's weekly webinars are held every Thursday, 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions regarding our webinars and our topics, please feel free to contact me again. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I would love to hear from you. You can track me down online. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, all the automotive social networks. I'm everywhere, really. Or you know what? You can just email me directly at eliana@dealeron.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on another webinar in our continuing education series. Take care.